Welcome back to the Hooper's Paradise podcast, where you're going to get real thoughts and opinions from fans who love a game, brought to you by your Hoopers, favorite Hoopers.
We outside.
CP, we been outside, man. We can't even say that now anymore. It's like, nah, we literally been outside.
Yeah, you know what? That's facts. That's facts.
Man, yo, round two, we was so wrong, but right at the same time.
Yo, I'll be honest, like this playoffs has been some good basketball. I don't know if it's because we're coming off of like the last 2 years of kind of the pandemic basketball where it's kind of been watered down a little bit, but it just seems as though these playoffs have been a little bit more entertaining than the last couple of years.
Because you kind of got rid of the frauds.
Facts.
We got rid of the frauds, and we're like kind of seeing the passing of the guard in ways, you know.
That's so crazy that like we're not talking about KD, LeBron,
nope,
Dame,
nope.
We're talking about young boy Jason Tatum, Luka. Like we're talking about these young guys who are coming in here and taking over the league. Taking it by storm. The one old guy trying to hold on is Jimmy Butler.
Nah, and you got Steph and Clay and Draymond still trucking along. But they got some youth beside them.
They're gonna be trucking along for a long time though, because like their game's predicated on shooting.
Oh yeah, you know what? Like as much as we're talking about the passing of the guard, I really see things kind of changing as we move forward soon.
From what standpoint?
Like, I expect KD back next season. Deep playoff run. I expect LeBron back to at least making the playoffs. I don't know about Dame. We got to see what's going to happen with Dame, but you know what I mean? Like, I expect like some normalcy for us to come back. I don't think that it's been a complete passing of the guard. I think it's a half. Like those guys didn't have their guns this year.
Yeah, and just as competitors too, like I'm sure like LeBron and KD and those guys are looking at like Luka and Tatum, and it's like you're gonna have to take this shit from us.
Oh yeah,
you ain't giving it. We're not giving it to you. You're gonna have to.
You ain't gonna get it like this.
You know what I'm trying to say? Nobody has beaten LeBron really out the playoffs like that. No young guy like. So there hasn't been somebody who has like that passing from the face of LeBron to who's next.
Okay. Before we even go deep dive and start talking about this, a rarity. I was watching ESPN today. It's like rare for me in the terms of like some of those shows first take. I was on YouTube. I came across, I saw a guest speaker on there. It was Pat Beverly.
Bruh.
And before we even start talking about Pat Beverly, before I even ask my question, y'all know I hate this dude. I'm capping. It's not that I hate him. I just think he is an overrated basketball player. And I think all season long, we overrated him as a leader. But, you know, that was my opinion where I was like, they made it seem like he was the reason for the Timberwolves' success in ways. That's kind of like what was pushed. And I was like, if we're looking from a leadership standpoint, these guys are celebrating play-in wins like they won the NBA championship, grittying all over courts. You got Cat doing farewells after he lost his first round. Like, I'm sitting here like, what leadership are we talking? But hey, that's Nair, say that's not the topic of conversation.
I'll be honest. So just to piggyback off, you said just a quick second. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves fans haven't had a lot to celebrate. I think Raptor fans were in that.
They were jumping on tables, man.
Jamar, Raptor fans were in that same place before we won the championship. Now we know how to win. Now we know how to act. You have to win. You have to go through consistent winning, Jamar, to be able as a fan to understand how to act. Like I don't agree with it.
Jumping on the table, CP.
Jamar, I don't agree with it. But I understand why the city of Minnesota and Pat Bev and Carl Towns kissing babies. I get it. I get it. They don't have much. Not much goes on in Minnesota. It's not right. I mean, but I get it.
Okay. All right. So if people don't know, Pat Beverly was a guest speaker on First Take.
On a bunch of different shows.
Yeah, he was up there with
all over
with
today.
a lot of JJ Redick and Stephen A. Smith, but I seen him with JJ Redick twice talking about some different topics. One that really struck me though, and I know it struck you a little bit, was he had some comments when talking about the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks series, specifically directed towards Chris Paul.
I think, to be honest, like I went back and I watched a little bit of that, and I watched it, and he's just coming off as a hater. Like, it seems as though Chris Paul has done something to him, and he's taking it personal, and he took the opportunity where he's on national television to kind of like bash the guy. Like, what he was saying doesn't make any sense. Are you talking about he's a cone at 37 years old, or are you talking about he's a cone in general? Because this is a 9-time first team. Is it first team? Let me make sure. 9-time all defensive in general. So he's a 9-time all defender, 9-team all defender. Like, I can't even pronounce it, how frustrated I am with this guy and the nonsense that he's spewing. This guy, let me just read some of Chris Paul's accomplishments.
Okay. I don't mind. You know me. I'm a CP3 fan.
He's a all NBA 10 times.
Wow.
That's crazy. All defensive team 9 times.
Not bad.
Led the NBA in steals 6 times.
Didn't know that.
Led the NBA in assists 4 different times.
Not surprising.
4th overall pick in 2005 as a 6-foot guard. Now, one of the points Patrick Beverly brought up was, if you're given the keys to an organization for 17 years and allowed to play with the freedom for 17 years, you're supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be. But it's like, why? Why was he given the keys for 17 years? What? Like, it's like, then he was... I just don't understand. Like, to me, it just sounds like he has just a personal vendetta with the guy, and he took the opportunity on national TV to go out there and bash him because, yeah, Chris Paul played a bad game, and I think he would be the first type of guy to tell you, yeah, shit, I played bad. But, wow. Wow.
What I'll say to counter Pat Beverly's point, where I think right now he's just setting up for his career after basketball because he's seeing it come down to an end. So he's like, let me jump on some of these ESPNs and let me see if I can do this.
But don't be throwing guys under the bus. Like, what was the reason to call Paul George's name?
Well, that's where he crossed the line in terms of boundaries and in terms of locker room talk and etc. Yeah. But to touch on his point about he was given 17 years of freedom.
So he's supposed to be that good. He's supposed to have those numbers. He's supposed to be recognized. That's what he's trying to say.
Can we go down the line of guys who were given the keys to the ship but couldn't even handle it for 1 year?
This is what I'm saying. Like, why was he he went to multiple different organizations and was handed the keys. You're the team that drafts you is the team that values you the most. So for you to go to another organization and another organization and another organization and your role doesn't change, that says who you are as a basketball player. It's a little difficult. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to add to it, we're talking about somebody who got to the NBA championship in year 16 as a 6-foot point guard.
That's what people got to understand. Like, I don't think they understand. I mean, you and I could never even really understand the punishment a 6-foot point guard would take in the NBA over 17 years. And for him to still be playing at a high level at 37 years old, I just, again, there's a fine line between critiquing someone playing bad and then just bashing them and coming off as a hater. And I think guys like JJ Redick and Matt Barnes were critiquing Chris Paul's games because, again, he did play bad. And I think Pat Beverly was brought on there you think he was brought on there for his next career? I think he was brought on there to spew negativity because I think the media wanted to kill Chris Paul today. Why him? Why Pat Bev? Why pick somebody who has a beef with Chris Paul?
Well, he went at the whole Phoenix Suns roster in ways in terms of nobody's scared of the Phoenix Suns.
They won 64 games.
Hey, CP, he's talking about them on TV.
On the couch.
He ain't playing basketball right now. Can we talk about how that man in a game looked at Steph Curry in his face and said, the last couple years were yours, the next 6 are ours, and has not won anything since.
Isn't he older than Steph?
Him and Steph are like good friends too. I believe they're kind of from like they have some history together, but it really comes off as hating. It really comes off as out of bounds for sure, just because you use locker room talk, conversations behind closed doors. Kind of going at Devin Booker too, that nobody's scared of him, kind of disrespected the talent that he is.
Devin Booker is an assassin.
And there's a lot of reporters and a lot of guys in the media who did not have amazing careers, but they've earned the respect to speak on certain situations.
For sure.
And they know how to do that appropriately. When you talk about guys like Kendrick Perkins, who, no disrespect, was a star in the role that he did. Matt Barnes, who acknowledged that he was a star role player. He hasn't earned that respect yet to get on TV and to comment in that type of way. Like, it was so ignorant. It was so out of bounds. He broke a lot of rules.
Yeah, especially the fact that he's still playing. Like, you got to go back in that locker room. You talking about playing with LeBron? Come on, man.
He all over the place.
Come on, man. I think, and now it's like, okay, ESPN invites him back tomorrow. So of course people are gonna glue in. It's like now he had, like what you said, we had this conversation off camera, man. He has to go up there and defend himself now because he looks stupid.
But you know what? When you look at Pat Bev, and this is and I hate doing this, where you're like basically guessing, or you're saying this is what's going on in this man's head. I hate doing that as another man, but he's one of those guys I could look at. He truly think he right. He gonna be wrong and strong.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's wrong and strong, and he'll argue.
And we can't even say we know that, but it's just like we're just.
It seems that way.
It seems that way, and it's something that we're guessing.
More than half of those things he didn't have to say.
No, and we haven't even talked about his argument around why James Harden should get a Supermax and ruin the Philadelphia 76ers. If they give him the Supermax, kudos to him. I love to see a black man get paid in the quotations of J. Cole. But
for sure,
at the same time, do you want to be paying James Harden damn near $60 million a year when he's 37 years old?
It just doesn't make sense.
When he's already showing his decline. A couple stats. James Harden hasn't shot over 20 shots since he's been with the Philadelphia 76ers.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know what happened to him. His game seems like maybe he's trying to fit it in. Maybe he's coming in there trying to fit in, trying to find his niche on that team, which seems to be like playmaking. I also think his first failed attempt to play with a dominant big and Dwight Howard kind of is weighing on him as well. Yeah, I don't think you want to repeat that with Joel because it's a different situation. Joel better than you.
Well, here's my unpopular opinion that I talked about with a few people and they was really upset.
Yeah.
Keep the same energy for James Harden that we gave Ben Simmons. We crucified
not showing up.
We crucified Ben Simmons for not scoring in fourth quarters of games and second halves.
He took 2 shots.
James Harden in the last 2 games of that series did not score a bucket in the fourth quarter, and in the last game of the series did not score a bucket in the second half. But here's my argument here, and this is what people got really upset at me about. The difference is that Ben Simmons wasn't a defensive liability at the same time.
Exactly. There's teams that are not trying to scope you out.
So we love to talk about how Ben Simmons did not do crazy things on the offensive end. Go back and watch that series and see the hell that he gave Trae Young.
Listen.
Go back and watch that series and see the hell that he gave to Trae Young that whole entire series. And on top of that, I'm gonna challenge people to also say, like, just give the same energy that we gave to Ben Simmons for not shooting. And here's the biggest point of this CP. James Harden's calling card in the league has been what?
Scoring.
What has been Ben Simmons?
Playmaking and defense.
We literally crucified that man for doing his job.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it he didn't do it at the highest level, and I will admit that he could have played better. Mm-hmm. But we got to give Harden that same energy right now, in the sense that he didn't show up either.
I mean, you can't take 2 shots in a second half. I mean, Jamar, you and I can go in the NBA and take 3 shot attempts. I'm not saying they're going to go in. I'm not saying they'll be the best shots. I'm not saying they'll come in to flow the offense, however you want to look at it. But you and I'm shooting at least 4 corner tray balls.
I'm going to let that fly, though.
I'll go 0 for 4. I will shoot the next one. Kobe. So, and as a basketball player, it's hard to understand or fathom how. And his excuse was, I'm not getting the ball. What? Bro, you're the point guard. You are dictating and facilitating everything for the offense. If you choose to call your own number, who's going to tell James Harden no?
And to be fair, we really like James Harden. And we love what he's done over the years. I haven't been like I'm happy for what he's done over the years, but
he's been a consistent top 6 player the last 8 years.
But the questions are going to start happening. Was it the D'Antoni system?
Was D'Antoni Harden's coach? No, it's not. No, it's not D'Antoni's system, because there was a point in time when he was in Brooklyn where he was cooking. He was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he was an MVP candidate for his playmaking.
Oh shoot, but Steve Nash is there.
He was never, and that's when D'Antoni was there too.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
He wasn't scoring at a high level, but he came there and he was playing good basketball playmaking. But I mean, a lot of people will say it's really easy to do that when you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving by your side.
True. That's true. And people do say D'Antoni's like a magician offensively.
But hey, regardless, Pat Beverly completely out of bounds. You agree?
Oh, out of pocket. Extremely out of pocket. And I'm so happy Matt Barnes checked that, because nobody else on the TV was going to. Nobody else on TV was going to. And you know what? And a lot of Chris Paul's teammates and a lot of men them are coming to his defense, because what? That is crazy.
And they're doing it respectfully with adding he was terrible in the series, though.
Because he was. It's not. No one's going to sit here. Anybody who watched basketball can look at Chris Paul and see over the last 5 games, he's giving you 9 points and 5 turnovers. That's not Chris Paul.
In the last, I think since he turned 37 years old. In that series.
Yeah, 18 turnovers or some crazy.
18 made shots and 18 turnovers.
That's not.
Since he turned 37.
Now, are we going to use a 5-game sample size to judge the man's entire career? For you to go on TV? That's crazy. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that is crazy. That to me, again, that's not, you're not talking basketball, you're hating. You came on TV to hate on another black man, and that's what's so sad to me.
Well, let's look past that, because we gave Pat Bev a lot of energy for what you know me,
man. I was giving that guy so much credit.
Overrated role player, in my opinion.
Yeah,
hey, like Russ said,
to you, man.
Hey, like Russ said back in the day, y'all give that guy a lot of love, but he really just running around barking.
But to be honest, he plays basketball with his mouth. And don't get me wrong, that's an effective way to play. Yeah, that's an effective way to play when you're playing against weak-minded people. But he was just saying a lot of out-of-pocket things on there. And I mean, I gave that guy a lot of clout. Like, I think no, is he the best leader? But he was a leader for Minnesota. And he helped propel that team. No, don't get me wrong. Let's not underestimate the jump of Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah.
Let's not underestimate the in-season stardom of Karl Anthony Towns and the impact he has, right? Let's not underestimate the shooting ability and the ability to take over a game that D'Angelo Russell has. They're not a bad team,
and they had a lot of nice little young pieces over there. I like what Minnesota's doing.
Yeah, and they have a phenomenal coach. So I just
you overrate. Just say it with me, CP. It's okay. You overrated this.
I did. I didn't appreciate what. I kind of lost a little bit of respect for him today, especially like Chris Paul is a top 3-point guard all time, arguably.
Who's your top 5 point guards of all time? Just because that's what we're rocking up with. Who's your top 5 point guards of all time? Speaking from a fellow point guard.
My personal, or like what the consensus would be?
Let's go with your personal.
My personal.
We want to know. The people want to know.
All right, shoot. Jason Kidd.
Respect. I like that.
Yeah. Shout out Jason Williams, White Chocolate.
The elbow joint. Okay.
Right. Chris Paul. Magic Johnson. And like I kind of struggle. Like there's a couple guys I want to throw in there, man. I want to throw. Like thinking about it, I kind of want to throw Rajon Rondo.
You know, it's my guy. I respect it.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Rondo because it's my 5. I'm gonna go with Rondo.
You know what? And
that's my 5.
I'm gonna say names, but I'm gonna say these guys wouldn't be in my top 5 point guards. These are my top 5 favorite guys to watch. Mm-hmm. So Jason Kidd.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Isaiah Thomas, just because another small guard that I just got to learn and watch and grow from. Rajon Rondo. Mm-hmm. To see a man dominate the league, like he did,
was crazy.
At his size, without being able to shoot, that's pretty damn impressive. That
guy used to put up 15, 18 rebounds, 16 assists, 7 steals, and 2 blocks somehow, and have a plus 29. What?
I'm running out of spots here, man. I'm getting nervous in terms of guys I appreciate watching. So I got J Kidd, Rondo,
Isaiah Thomas.
I'm gonna go with the Canadian Nash.
Okay. You are a real point guard, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Canadian Nash, and then I'm gonna wrap it up with. I gotta put a big guard in there, Penny Hardaway.
That was smooth.
I'm thinking to myself, but those a lot of my list would change if it was just like top 5 guards of all time.
Oh, for sure. Because Steph Curry would be in there. Magic and Isaiah would have to be in there. Chris Paul and maybe John Stockton.
Yeah, and you know what?
5 I would.
I try to. It sounds weird, but I kind of keep Steph out of my point guard. Like, unless if we talking about guys who played the position, he in the top 5. But if we're talking about just like pure point guard,
no, he's not a pure point.
He don't make my top 5. But hey,
isn't it crazy?
That's a cool top 5.
Isn't it crazy? Like, it's breaking my heart right now. I didn't say Kyrie
because Kyrie.
No, just my personal.
He's not a pure point guard either.
I know, but watching that guy,
he's a 2 in a 1's body.
That's facts. But he's amazing, man.
Oh. Skill,
amazing.
You know how I feel, man. Most skilled guard ever.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to shout out Chris Paul just because, man, because that was Pat Bev is crazy.
Wild for that one. Wild. But unfortunately, as much as we gave Chris Paul a lot of love right now, right? He had the peak of love that we showing him. CP, I'm gonna take you back a couple weeks ago, right? When I said Dallas in 7, you looked at me and called. Dallas
What's
in
up?
7.
Oh, you're out of your mind. What's next? You're out of your mind.
Dallas in 7.
You're out of your mind.
I'll be crazy.
Let me tell you why, Jamar. It's undeniable that Luka's the best player on the floor. And I know the rule is that once you have the best player on the floor, you have, even if it's a 51% and 49%, you have the better chance of winning the series. I thought, based on my metric system, that the overall team of Phoenix Suns could outduel or out-impact one of Luka. And I was wrong. Because the rest of Luka's team is Luka's roster. That roster is not a playoff roster. Let me just say that. Let's be clear.
Okay, go ahead. Because I'm gonna tell you why I thought they was Luka's.
I think Luka's that good. I just think Luka's that good. Like I kind of equated to when LeBron brought that Cleveland team to. I look at a team like that. Maybe the coaching of Jason Kidd. I know he did a great job of attacking CP3, of drawing up that game plan to attack CP3 consistently. But it's tough to remember.
So I'm gonna tell you why I thought Dallas in 7. One, Dallas is actually a playoff basketball team. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a team that finished what, 4th in the West?
5th.
They finished 5th in the West.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me pull this up, man. Let me see.
Yeah.
So they
yeah, it's right here, Jamal.
Yeah, they finished 4th in the West.
4? Oh, 4.
Right. So
yeah, they're top
they
4
finished 4th in the West, and remember that Luka was hurt during this season and came into the season out of shape. So they was winning games regardless. Right. So this is why I picked them in 7. They got the wing depth. They got prototypical 3-and-Ds. They got 4s and 5s who can stretch the floor, and around a guy who can dictate the pace of the game with knockdown shooters. Yeah, and Jamar, it's not just knockdown shooters, CP. We're talking about guys who can knock down shots and then come on the other end and guard your best player in Finney Smith. You know what I mean? Like you got wings like Bullock, who we seen how much the Knicks missed him this year.
Yeah,
and then you add like they got these weird bigs who stretch the floor in like a Maxi Cleaver, and then you got a Powell who just run up and down and work hard.
Yo, Jamar,
when you put all these little pieces, and then the emergence of Jalen Brunson, who we forget is going to command a $20 million contract, and then off the bench they're still bringing in Spencer Dinwiddie as a spark plug. I just thought that Luka's greatness and the way he can facilitate, it's going to make Phoenix really, really hard to guard in terms of they're going to put DeAndre Ayton in a lot of pick and rolls. Phoenix switches a lot of stuff, so Luka's going to get a lot of post-ups against CP3 and Devin Booker. And what they did was they trapped the hell out of Devin Booker and forced Chris Paul to guard. And then with the way they play, it's a weird kind of style defense. It's very very Raptorous, where it's like because remember, they're starting a big guard. Luka's 6'8". And then Brunson's like this small kind of like post kind of old school guard. Like he's a real old school shoot the mid-range his footwork in the post. Like I've never seen a guard post up CP3 besides Kyrie Irving. We've never seen this before. Chris Paul's usually the one posting people up and making decisions. So to see Brunson like bully him, which I expected, to be honest, because I was like, yo, these Dallas Mavericks are no joke. And then my thought process was, when it gets to game 7, anything can happen. But usually you go with the best player on the floor.
In the game 7,
do some heroics. And Luka came out on some heroics. And the last point I'm going to make is, I'm shocked that people didn't rate the Dallas Mavericks more, considering the fact that these guys took Paul George and Kawhi to 7.
But I
That
think a
was
lot of
2 years ago.
I think a lot of that's on Luka. Like, you take Luka off that roster, they don't make the playoffs.
Yes, but some rosters are built that way.
No, and I agree. And I think
some rosters are built that way.
Like, it's built perfectly around Luka for his style of play. But I was just looking at it like, I'll be honest with you, Jamar. I felt as though Phoenix was one of the more complete teams in the NBA that could play on multiple different ways. If you had told me that, because I saw a possession where Luka posted up DeAndre Ayton and scored in the post.
Well, I told you overrated that man's defense a little bit too much. He really struggles guarding the pick and roll in ways, because as much as they're very like, they're still playing like the conventional bigs. Mm-hmm. They go Ayton, Biyombo, McGee, and that has to switch out on Luka.
It's tough, man, and
that's why I'm not surprised. CP, I called them Dallas in 7. I'm not surprised, and I said it with confidence.
Yeah, you did.
Remember, I called Dallas as my dark horse to get to the NBA Finals, and y'all called me nuts.
There's not one person on the Dallas outside of Boban Marjanovic, and he doesn't play, that shoots below 30% from 3. It's crazy.
The roster is designed very well, and people should be scared because Luka's a big away from just dominating the league for a little bit, where we might just continuously see Luka versus Giannis
or Tatum.
Y'all better hope Middleton don't come back. But we're gonna speak on that before we speak on that though. Quickly, does Ayton get his max deal somewhere?
Somewhere, someone will give it to him.
You think Phoenix? You think it's gonna be in Phoenix?
If Phoenix was making the decision today, my answer would be no.
Did you see Monty Williams' press conference?
And why I did. It doesn't seem very it didn't seem very uplifting or positive for DeAndre Ayton's future.
When they're saying, why did he only play 18 minutes? It's like, it's internal.
I think it's because as to your point, he was horrible in the pick and roll, and I'm going to make the tough decision to not play you. But he's not going to, because Monty Williams is who he is, he's not going to go and throw DeAndre Ayton under the bus like that to the media.
So is it time for us, just so we can wrap this up? First of all, before I go forward, CP3 still a Hall of Famer. Devin Booker still an upcoming superstar in my opinion. Sure. And Pat Bev made a joke about he could be the face of the league. You're damn right he can.
For sure. Because he's light skinned. Listen, bro. That guy,
disappointing.
Man. That's crazy.
We're talking about other black men. That's what's disappointing.
Bro.
And then Ayton.
I think he moves on.
You wouldn't mind seeing him in a Raptors uniform?
Oh my goodness! Hey,
okay, let's not. No, don't get
me started. Don't get me started,
Jamar. Would you not mind? Just yes or no.
Yes. I would love to see that.
Okay. All right. So the next series we had was Boston versus the Bucks. Mm-hmm. Your favorite team, the Celtics.
You can't be saying that on here. I'm a Raptor fan first.
your favorite team, the Celtics.
But I do love the Celtics.
You had zero respect for them until recently.
Because I can't have respect for them when the Raptors are in the playoffs.
I feel you.
I gotta go with the Raptors.
Right, take your bias out. How much respect you got from that?
Oh my gosh, like this series with Miami is gonna be a grinded out series, but just going back to that Milwaukee and Boston series, I think it's a little different if Chris Middleton plays.
For sure.
Right? I think it's a little bit different. 6. Milwaukee
wins in 6 with Middleton there.
Huh? I don't know about that one, but it'll be a little bit different. But Jason Tatum showed that he has the ability now. Because I think that's a difference between what's the word I'm looking for? When they talk about how when they project what you're going to be in the future.
Yeah.
Well, I think the difference between those type of what's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I don't even know.
Flip. All right, it'll come to me. But I think like that's the difference between a superstar and an upcoming player is like the consistency.
Yeah.
And I think like Jason Tatum has now got the consistency on his side. Like he had a few bad games here and there. That's gonna happen, right? It's a make or miss league. You're gonna miss some shots, right? But I look at the other things that you're doing. Is you're missing shots hurting your defense like it used to? Is your missing shots taken away from your playmaking? And you still see little spurts of it, and he's still only 24, but you're now seeing him turn the corner more consistently and taking that step into a guy who you could rely on to go on a deep playoff push.
So this series reminded me of a series last year. It was the Brooklyn Nets versus Milwaukee Bucks, where you had the older superstar. And it's crazy that Giannis is actually the older superstar in this series.
And he's 28 or 27.
He had to do everything possible and still missed it in game 7 by a hair, similar to KD. We're like, but give Boston credit, they slowed him down. As much as the numbers were there.
He wasn't as efficient.
They slowed him down, got him in turnovers. They did a great job on him. I do think what they were missing is similar to what Brooklyn was missing when they played Boston in the first round. Them missing Chris Middleton is that extra wing defender and that extra shot maker when Drew Holiday's struggling.
And playmaker.
Because Drew Holiday was asked, and this is not making any excuses for Milwaukee, it's just the reality of the situation. That man was asked to guard Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and be a scorer and a playmaker at a high level.
People don't understand how hard it is to be a consistent two-way player in the NBA, where someone's asking you to guard the best player and give you 20 points efficiently.
So while all of that's happening, and this is why I say I think we're respecting Middleton more, because I do think he was still somebody who was disrespected in ways, how we kind of go about it, that Giannis won the championship on his own. Right? You hear that a lot. Oh man, see how Giannis did it? He did it like the old school. Like, see how
it's all about Giannis.
KD and LeBron when they teamed up here and he stuck there at home and relax. Middleton's an all-star. Drew Holiday's an all-star. Relax. Okay? Like those are legitimate basketball players, and that's why it still went 7. I think what bit them in the butt though is, you think they should have paid
PJ Tucker?
My man PJ Tucker?
100%. He was a difference maker.
Because, sounds scary. Even without Middleton, if they have PJ Tucker to just guard Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown.
You know that PJ Tucker is going to get the benefit of the doubt from the refs. B, he's going to give you about 3 corner threes in a game. So it's able to take pressure off of Giannis when he's driving into the paint like that. You got to make a decision. PJ Tucker will bury you. And he will bury you from the corner.
We watched them have such weird lineups. At one point, I saw them go as big as Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, and somebody else in the game where I was like, and Giannis. And I'm like, this is huge.
Yeah, they're a big team.
To be guarding Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown right now. You got Brook Lopez closing out long closeouts on Grant Williams. Like, that's just not going to work. And I think that extra wing depth bit him in the butt, similar to how it bit Brooklyn in the butt that last series, where we saw Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, and Patty Mills switching on to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum like it was a joke.
It's just tough. It's tough. Those guys, to be successful in the NBA, you need a lot of a lot of big wings. And guess who has a lot of big rings off topic? But anyway, but to be successful in the NBA, in today's NBA, you got to have a lot of big wings, and you got to efficiently be able to shoot the 3, make layups, and get to the free throw line. And if you have the formula for all those things, with the correct coaching and some luck, you have a championship recipe, right? Now, there's a couple of teams that have championship recipes, but they're just young. And then you got a couple of teams who have championship recipes and they're contenders. And it's like, And I think a team like Boston made that transition to a contender now.
Huge shout out to Grant Williams, back-to-back series, he did a number on KD, and then went into the next series and does a number on Giannis.
I watched it,
and he doesn't do it by himself. Don't get me wrong;
No,
like
of course,
it's a great team defense.
But he's a primary defender.
Yeah, but he's doing a great job, and I just want a huge shout out to Grant Williams.
Because it's very difficult to guard Giannis and shoot 18 threes in a game. I will not lie to you. Can you imagine how exhausting that must be?
It's not even exhausting. Do you know like what type of like confidence
you have 18 threes? Yeah,
to shoot 18 threes.
Kobe in a 48-minute span. You don't play 48 minutes.
And for you know what type of confidence your team has to give you to say, because everybody knows the way Milwaukee plays. They play in the sense where in this new NBA, weirdly, they give up the three. They pack the paint with their size and give up the three. Like the
Raptors.
Yeah, so the confidence that Grant Williams must have been given for them to say, Grant, just keep shooting. Grant, keep shooting. To shoot 18 threes in a game. I'm curious to see how much threes Steph has shot in a game.
But that's the sign of a great organization. It's the positivity and the encouragement coming from the players, whether you're making or missing. They know that. You don't think Boston knows that we need Grant Williams to hit these threes to win? From and what they're taking away, shooting. You have to keep shooting.
And, it was beautiful.
And there you go. And right, and that's kind of those are the type of words you have to use to describe that, because it's just beautiful to see the confidence that your teammates instill in you to be able to shoot 18 threes. I don't think people understand
that's a lot.
What shooting 18 threes look like in a span of he probably played 33 minutes. Let me go back and check. 30 minutes maybe.
While guarding Giannis, like you said.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how difficult that is. This man played. Oh shit, he played 39 minutes. Well, hey, he's good. Listen, and he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, Boston's got some time, man, and we're seeing the emergence of Jason Tatum, and it's crazy that with the emergence of Jason Tatum happening, Jaylen Brown's kind of getting lost in the mix, where it's like, no, that boy been hooping.
But this is what I'm saying. That's how deep they are, because there's other news outside of him. The defensive player of the year, the greatness of Jason Tatum, the explosion of nobody saw coming from Al Horford.
Hey, someone needs to go figure out the fountain of youth that Al Horford found.
Where he drinking that
into
juice
these
from.
Playoffs, because they need to give that wherever he's doing, he needs to give it to some other. But I think stars.
I think guys like Al Horford, and I think if Chris Paul would do this as well, like they take up a lot of time in the season. Al Horford probably played 40 games maybe, and not due to injury, just because didn't he start off in OKC?
No. So that trade happened during the offseason where he sat all last year though.
So OKC. He's healthy. So I'm trying to say. So he basically took it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like he's rested and come ready to play, and now you're resting in the season as well, because realistically, Al Horford is there kind of just like a release for Robert Williams.
So you know what? They started them beside each other practically the whole season. What's even scarier is that they were playing big, but. What we got to see is, man, Al Horford could still move those feet on defense.
Yeah,
we're talking about a guy
who was guarding Giannis.
He was guarding KD last round too,
and staying in front. Now, don't get me wrong; these guys are great players. They're gonna make tough shots, but he was there.
They were doing a great job containing. They let Giannis play one-on-one a little bit more than KD, for sure in this series. But because Giannis did a lot more posting up, and he gets his buckets in different ways, like offensive rebounds, get it off the catch and just go. Yeah. And he's going to the rim. So I thought it was easier for him to get buckets than KD, but they let Giannis play a little bit more one-on-one and force guys like Grayson Allen to be shooters without
that's tough.
Chris Middleton there. And that's the other thing. Pat Bev, don't be disrespecting guys like Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton and come on, man. Those guys had a great season. We're talking they still, without their second best player, took this Boston Celtics team that's had the best defensive record in the best defense in the NBA and had the best record on the Eastern Conference to 7 games.
But what I'm saying is is there really a big difference in Pat Bev and Grayson Allen game? They're similar type of role players.
Grayson Allen's better than him. Don't do that.
This is what I'm saying. Grayson Allen's a good basketball player. It's not like Grayson Allen's terrible. He had one bad game.
Yeah.
I don't, and I mean, like Matt Barnes said, there's role players. Though you don't talk about the role players. What does Shaq call them? The others. you don't talk about the role players like that. For him to be coming on TV like you're that guy, you're not that guy, bro. You don't dictate an organization. You don't change the fortunes, or you're not some type of transcendent talent to be going. And I don't understand. I mean, I get it. I understand he gets it out the mud, so he has a certain type of confidence about himself. I get all that. But you don't got to be disrespectful or
you went too far.
Yeah, throwing people under the bus and calling out them name. Now you put a target on Paul George and the Clippers back for what?
Oh no, man!
For
and he ain't even there.
For what?
And he's not even there. Miami over Philly in 6. We kind of predicted that.
Yeah. I mean, Joel Embiid is playing through multiple injuries, and James Harden, the decline is real. You see it in front of you. In 1 year, he went from a 38-10 guy to a 22-8-7, which is not fine. That's still a good basketball player. Don't get it twisted, but it's just not what we're accustomed to from seeing from James Harden.
And we really saw the loss of their depth.
Well, I mean, when you're giving up two real Ben Simmons is a starter. Let's be honest with you, right? You're giving up three starters. You're giving up.
They gave up a starter,
2 starters on Drummond, Seth Curry,
Drummond's
and
not a starter in 2022, man.
I mean, but Jamar. He has starter talent. Like, he could start in the game. He could definitely start the game for you.
If Drummond is your starting center in 2022, I don't think you a championship team.
Nah, but there's a job out there for him.
Yeah.
He could start.
Definitely.
For example, he could go to Charlotte and start because they're looking for a center.
Okay,
He'll go to Charlotte. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. There's a job out there for him, but this Boston, Miami, who you got? Who you taking?
Oh, see how we just skipped over that Miami Philly? We didn't even break that down.
What's the point? Because
the only thing we'll break down is, would you give James Harden the Supermax?
That's a good question, and my answer is no.
Why
would I be paying him $60 million when he's 37 years old? When how old is he now? 33, and he's already showing a crazy decline? Just from a business standpoint, that doesn't sound smart.
If I'm Philly, I'm trying to get him to opt in.
Yeah.
Same way how I feel about Kyrie.
But didn't he miss the deadline for that?
I don't know. But they haven't, because Kyrie still has that option too. The way how I feel about Kyrie in this situation, the same way I feel about James Harden. You worth that money?
No, absolutely not. Kyrie has not shown one lick of decline. No. The conversation is different. You're worried about Kyrie because he may not be invested, or No.
Hear me out. It's more than that. Because he's been away for so long.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about his injury history.
He had a healthy season this year.
This has been Kyrie's healthiest season. This has been Kyrie's healthiest season in a while.
It's fact. That's what I'm saying to you, Jamar.
Hey, before we go in on him, just completely go off topic. Before we go in on Kyrie, let me make this clear. You're looking at two of probably the biggest Kyrie Irving fans.
100%. I love Kyrie so much.
And we love when he talks his nonsense. We love it all.
I love him. I love it
all. Keep burning your sage and having your Instagram lives, Kyrie. We love it. And I love that he's finding himself as a black man. Continue to find yourself. Continue to work with your mental health. Whatever you got to do to make your life better. We respect it. We honor it. Show these guys that I'm not just a hooper who can dribble around really, really nice. He may say some out-of-pocket things, but that's for that man to say.
I love it. I'm here for all of it.
But I love Kyrie. Now that we've bigged him up, the man hasn't played over 50 games in a long time, CP. I don't know if I need him to opt in and show that he is here and he's serious. Come back. Give me 60 games. I'm not even asking for a lot. Give me 65, actually. Give me 65 games.
Jamar, that's a lot in today's world, man. With the travel and all that. You asking a lot, bro.
I'm asking 65 games 55. From a man. CP, hear me out. I'm asking for
50 to 55 games.
I'm asking for 65 games from a man who hasn't played over 50 games in 3 years.
I will give you all right. So then me getting the 50s an accomplishment. So I'll give you 50 to 55 games. Run me my money. 5 years too, I'm not talking. I don't want 4 years.
You gotta opt in for me. Opt in. Let me know that you worth it. If you
you're
worth it, we'll pay you.
Hey, yo, KD, you're not giving me my money.
Tell him to bring me my money.
He didn't even say KD at that point. Yo, Kevin, talk to these guys.
Or both of us are out.
How are they not trying to give me my extension when I just promoted myself to run the organization and make deals with Sean Marks, yo?
And Kyrie the face of that team, so Kevin Durant have to listen.
Okay, you went too far. You went too far. You know what? Kyrie is the face of the team because he keeps putting himself in that position to be the face. Where it's like, hi. Sometimes it's like, yo, bro, shut up, man. Shut up, bro. Like this guy really, after they got swept, went on live TV and said, "I'm here for the long haul. I want to get into the front office and start making decisions on roster. How we're gonna build this for the next couple." Bro, you can't not play all season, get swept, and give yourself a promotion. I told you this, CP. That's like you going to work, not showing up to work for a week. Without telling nobody. Show up, go into your manager's office and say, you know what, I think I deserve a raise.
Jamar, for that 1 week I could have been sick. Jamar, man, I do need a raise.
How come you didn't?
I sent the text, he didn't see it.
But that's what Kyrie is initially doing. This man said he literally went. I know. I'm just making a joke out of it. Man, because the NBA is a job. I got to remind people. He's employed, right?
It's a 9 to 5.
This man literally hasn't been to work all year. Popped in at the end of the year to help out his taxes. Showed up, after he did a terrible job at his workplace. Showed up and looked at the manager in his face and said, "Yo,
I need a raise.
I need a raise, and I'm gonna give myself a promotion
and tell you how to do your job.
I'm gonna tell you how to do your job."
You gotta respect it.
Amazing.
You gotta
incredible.
respect it.
You know what type of confidence it takes.
You gotta respect
like
it.
That?
I respect it to the utmost. He has my utmost respect, Jamar, as a man, as a father, as a basketball player, as a brother. That man has my utmost respect.
Hey, we love you, Kai. Hey,
for sure.
Anytime you want to jump on the Hoopers Paradise podcast, we ready for you, man.
Listen,
we'll set the move for you. We got the Sage. I've been doing a lot of history on my Aboriginal background, and yeah, man, I would love to chop it up. Let's talk.
Kyrie seems like he's an interesting guy. Like he's somebody who I want to have a conversation with for sure. And pick his brain.
I don't think we need to break this one down either. Warriors over Grizzly and sick.
Nah, like we saw. Grizzlies are young and up and coming. But come on, you're going right now, especially with the addition of Jordan Poole. You're looking at Warriors as a juggernaut. So I just, you did what you can.
I think Grizzly. Yeah, they're gonna come back better next year. Yeah, they're gonna come back even more ready.
They'll be back. Dylan Brooks said it. They'll be back.
Yeah, shout out the Canadians, Dylan Brooks and
Brandon Clark,
who balled out though in this this all season and these playoffs, and I'm excited to see what the Grizzlies do and how they retool to bring back even a better roster next year.
I think they're gonna rely a lot on internal development, and I think because they're so young, you can do that.
Yeah, that is true. They are young. Okay, so same thing what we did last round. Who's your MVP of this round? Come on, man. There's nothing to even talk about. We know it's Luka. Like, why are we even?
I want to go with Jason Tatum.
Ooh, okay.
I want to go with Jason Tatum, but it's hard because Luka's the obvious choice. Like he's your gold medal, right? Because you like.
What can we give co-MVPs?
Yeah, so I'm going with Jason Tatum and Luka. I know normally Jamar, you don't let me pick two.
No, but I'm gonna let you do it today. I gotta respect the two young stars. Jason Tatum and Luka did an amazing job. Are we seeing the passing of the guard? We'll find out next year. But
I think next year when you see guys like Kawhi and Paul George come back and get healthy, and you'll see the real NBA. So you're gonna really see who are the guys that take their team above and beyond. You're gonna see, you know what I'm trying to say? I think you're gonna see LeBron back with a vengeance.
He gonna
think,
come back like Batman.
yeah, I'm trying to say. I think you're gonna see a different Russell Westbrook. So I think there's a lot of I think you're gonna see a lot, especially if you get a new coach. My choice on the Lakers depending on who the coach is.
Okay.
Because their team is set in stone now. Like, don't get me wrong, you're probably gonna add some more shooters and some more glorified role players around LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, right? Of course. But who doesn't want to come to LA, La La Land, and play that? The weather's like you're gonna get that. But depending on the coach, I need someone who's strong-minded, that's stronger-minded Westbrook.
Okay.
That's what's tough to do.
Most disappointing player and team.
Most disappointing player will probably have to be James Harden. And yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. You expect more out of Harden at this stage in his career than you do out of Chris Paul. Okay.
100%. Chris Paul 37 years old, bro.
Okay, I get it. You kind of threw me off, but when you said that, it made sense in my head. Yeah. Okay, I like your pick. What's the team for you? I think I know the team.
I'm probably gonna go with Phoenix.
Yeah, that's obvious.
The way you come out in a game 7 and get slapped by 70.
That should look like a 2K game,
bro.
Where you playing with your little brother, you don't even want to anymore,
and you're playing on rookie, and you're hitting everything. Like it didn't look. It's shock and awe. Like I couldn't believe what I was watching, and to me, that tells me that I'm not gonna say they're not prepared because I like Monty Williams, and I think Monty Williams will go to the ends of the earth to make sure his team is prepared for whatever game they're playing. I think like there must have been a turning point in the series where Dallas took Phoenix's soul.
Keep telling you, man. Game 5.
That was a turning point, eh?
Yeah, Luka, Devin Booker, they were up big, and he went and took. He was mocking Luka a little bit. Was on the floor on some flop stuff, making a joke, and then he was slapped the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, I seen that. Luka's all right.
Yeah, you poked a bear, and he's literally a bear.
Same thing that Miami did to Dallas with Dirk when he's coughing, and you woke up the man now.
You poked a bear, man. So
they're my most disappointing team, man. I expected they showed, and I know the season's difference, but like they showed, like to me, and as well as Milwaukee, as presently constructed to be probably two of the more deeper teams from play styles in the NBA. And they could play so many different ways. They could play small, big, shoot, fast, slow, however the hell you want to do it, they could do it. And it's just tough way to lose.
So then who would be your most surprising? Dallas,
by far.
Okay, I picked Dallas. So yeah, and I gotta go with my most surprising is gonna go with Boston. I really thought they were going to run into the best player on the planet and Giannis. And I like Boston a lot this year, and I spoke very, very highly on them. But Giannis is a different kind of beast. But when Middleton went down, I still stuck with my guns with Giannis. But hey, kudos to Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Boston Celtics. And shout out that first-year coach, Udoka, man. Another guy off of Greg Popovich's tree.
Hey, Brad Stevens looked like he made the right decision.
Yeah, man. Another guy off Greg Popovich's tree. You love to see it. We're seeing a lot of Greg Popovich coaches excel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's going to propel him to the greatest coach of all time. If people don't already see him as that, is that you don't hear any coaches in the NBA get love like Greg Pop.
Keep saying, Jamar, the sign of greatness is your ability to inspire others to do the same thing. And you produce a tree of, you've inspired how many coaches?
I think they said it that I think 4 out of the 8 coaches left or something like that came from the Greg Popovich tree.
You even have someone from the Greg Popovich tree now in the WNBA, the highest paid WNBA coach of all time. Yeah, Becky Hammond. So it's just
to be honest, she should have been an NBA coach.
Yeah, I agree from a talent perspective, but it's tough.
She should have been an NBA. Yeah, she should have been an NBA coach. I was really rooting for her to be an NBA coach. Her IQ was
crazy. Her IQ was
out of this world.
But it's just, I think it's just that's a boys' club. I just don't think she'll. Yeah, that'll be a tough.
I
that'll
wish
be
she was the
tough.
one to crack it though, because
That'll be tough.
not just for the look, it was more than the look. It was well deserved.
For sure, but
Yeah.
it's like the NBA is like all major sports leagues to me are a boys club, and it's only a certain amount of women. It sucks to say, and it's so sad, but there's only a certain amount of women they're gonna let in certain roles.
I pray like
I hope it changes. I have daughters.
It needs to change.
I have daughters, so it's sad. But
it's a good way to say
right?
it, man. I love
it's
that.
But it's just the way major league sports work right now. I hope 50 years from now may be different. You may see a woman head coach. You may see somebody be able to knock that barrier down.
I don't think it's gonna take 50. I think we're gonna see it in the next 5.
You think so?
Yeah, I think with the emergence of the WNBA, which has been an incredible season so far this year. CP, I don't know if you got to watch it yet.
I ain't gotten a chance to tune in.
Oh man, but everybody knows I love the WNBA just because I love shooting.
And
I love skill, and their skill has to be put to another level just because of some of the athleticism that they lack in ways. And even though we're seeing a lot of these women even become pure athletes, considering the fact that I think that Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all time, and she's female. And I
watched Candace Parker sit and cry in an interview because she felt like she belonged on to be able to talk on TNT with D Wade and Shaq and those guys.
Oh man, well, and
I watched her cry.
She breaks down the game better than all of them.
Than every single one of them.
She breaks down the game better. She made Shaq look like an idiot one time.
To the point where Shaq have to keep telling her she's bullying him.
But no, we love it. We love to see it. Shout out the women hooping and just doing their thing, man. We appreciate it.
For sure.
Know what? I'm gonna send a big shout out because I know one of my colleagues here, April. She's one of the women who inspires to be a coach in the NBA one day. And she's on the right path, and she's very knowledgeable and knows what she's doing. So,
and
good luck to you, April.
If it's somebody who would take that chance, it may be Masai.
Hey man, she's a legit ACP. She can coach, man.
I don't doubt you, Jamar.
She can coach. Shout out April. I know that's just a random shout out, but since we're speaking on the topic, man, huge shout out to my homie April.
I do that more often.
Predictions. Who you got going to the finals? You got to give me the games too.
I'm going with. You know what? I'm going with Golden State over Dallas.
In how many games? I want to see you this. Okay. All right. I respect that.
Because I just look at it like, yeah, you know what, Jamar? Flip. Nobody in the world's guarding Luka. Nobody in the world's guarding Luka. Not one person.
You know what, though?
There's not one person in the world stopping Luka.
It's going to be hard for me to pick Luka. Because I really want to pick Dallas, because I had him as a dark horse to
who the hell Luka running off screens? Who the hell Luka chasing? You can't pick Luka. You can't pick Dallas. Luka's not. They're not. Yo, when you play the Golden State Warriors, you have to play perfect basketball defensively.
Dallas in 6.
Jamar, we're gonna make another. You're crazy. We're gonna do this again.
That's what I'm going with. I'm a ride with him to the end.
All right, bet.
That became my. Hey, I told people from the moment that dude before he was drafted, I was already calling him my white son.
Yo, hey, when you hear guys like LeBron trying to sign him to shoe deals, it's for a reason.
Yeah, that's my white son right there. He doesn't know it, but like, it's my white son. I respect him. From the moment he stepped in the league, I was talking because I got to see him like early watching like the junior world championship stuff. Yeah, he became my white son.
I went through a phase where I had favorite white guys in the league. So it started. It started.
White chocolate was back. It was white chocolate for back. We remember guys like Peja. Just because of the name, Peja Stojakovic.
One of my favorites were Chandler Parsons. Because
he fell off hard after the injury.
He got into an accident.
Yeah,
and then that's why, and his career was over after that. Got into a car accident, but then tore up all of his knee. He was done. It never came back the same. But when I read his Twitter bio, this is a few years back when he was at his peak, kind of, but he just got that deal, and it said 6'10" with a ratchet. And from there, I was like, yeah, this guy's.
That's
tough.
My favorite white boy.
Yeah, he's tough.
Nah, Luka's my white son.
Okay.
Miami or Boston?
Oh, Boston. That's not even. I'm going
Boston, how many?
Boston in 5. Okay, I'm lying. I'm being disrespectful still. Boston in 7. That was disrespectful.
You know what? But you've been disrespecting Miami all season, so you got to stay consistent with it.
You know, fine. Boston in 5.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you're staying consistent. You've been disrespecting Miami all season. It's funny that the two teams that you disrespected all season are now in the Eastern Conference Finals.
It's crazy, right?
I love it. You disrespected. I understand why you disrespected Boston.
I disrespect Boston in the season because of the Raptors. I have to do it.
But why did you disrespect Miami like this? You actually said they had no shot. You said they had no shot at making the championship.
None. And I'm mad because Kyle Lowry went there. That's really
he's not even playing right now.
I'm mad because Kyle Lowry went there. I didn't want him to go there.
I'm gonna go Boston in 7.
But yeah, I think Boston's winning that series.
I'm gonna go Boston in 7. I'm gonna give Jimmy Butler some respect. In reality, my heart wants to tell me to say ignorant stuff like you right now and say Boston in 6.
So I think Boston in 5 or 6. That's what I think. I think they have no answer for Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown averages 25 points per game this series.
Tyler, it's gonna be funny when we see Tyler Hero guard. But you know what? They got PJ Tucker over there. They got Bam. They got Jimmy. They got some switchable parts. So we'll see.
Yeah.
They got some switchable parts. I just don't think they have enough offense.
There you go. We're on the same page. They're both those teams are really good defensively. Like the games are gonna be in the 90s, but I just think Boston
gets hot from 3, man.
Yeah,
both teams that can get hot from 3.
But I mean, Boston can do it at a different level. Like Boston can, they had the record for most 3-pointers in the.
You want to know what this is the big difference before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Boston has guys who can get their own 3.
Yep.
Miami needs guys to run off a screen and play making. You know how the NBA goes. Now we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Teams been watching you all year. Playoffs, it's starting to dog on you. And this is the time where it's like, this is when you see like the superstars and stars come out because everybody knows your plays. You can't be running off a million screens anymore.
Mm-hmm. We switching that shit.
You might just need a bucket, and we've seen that Jason Tatum can do that. Jimmy has shown that he can do that at times.
Yeah, but he can't do it by himself, and I don't believe in.
But they got Hero. They got 2 guys over there.
And Bam, offensive game not there yet. He come in, but he not there.
He got to deal with Al Horford and them dudes right now.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like he's got to focus defensively.
We'll see.
Definitely Boston. Definitely coming out.
So we got a Boston versus Warriors or Dallas Finals.
Golden State.
Hey, but I went with Dallas.
Yo, wouldn't that be crazy if Jason Tatum and Luka got to the finals?
Hey, man, it wouldn't be crazy because I've been saying
a change now. Then that would be officially the changing of the guard.
Like I said, Dallas is my dark horse all year, and y'all been laughing at me. I can't wait until my white son makes it to the NBA championship, and I get to look at everybody and say, "I told you so."
I want Luka game 1 to come out and drop a 40-point triple double. 50. No, it'll be tough to do the playoffs, bro.
50. He gonna be, and this is no disrespect to Wiggins. He gonna be step backing on Wiggins and Draymond all series.
Luka's really good, man. I'm still waiting for him to have a bad game.
All right, man. Let's wrap. Hey, man, this was super fun.
Yeah, I had a blast. Still,
I had a blast with this one.
Ticker below. Everybody knows what to do by now. God damn it.
Like,
Twitter,
subscribe,
Instagram, they know.
Follow. Hey, one thing too, if you're following the page, we've been doing these basketball runs for some youth.
For sure.
Please check them out, man. We got some really good talent in the gym. There's going to be more to come. So if you're just a fan of basketball and want to see some young Canadian talent in Ontario, go to that page and go click on those Hooper Paradise runs that we're trying to just create a nice athlete experience for these guys.
Jamar, do you understand why I keep saying we're outside?
That's why we outside.
Outside, bro.
And let's shout out the youth ambassadors for the runs, man, and for the brand, man.
Hey,
so shout out my man's Isaiah Spencer
and Austin.
And Mr. Austin, good. Shout you guys out, man. Keep hooping. You're gonna see a lot of them over the next couple of years.
Yeah. We just put up something on our IG for them.
Yeah, and just from a talent standpoint, you're gonna hear from these 2 young kids, man.
D1.
Okay. I respect that. Hey, we believe it. Speak it into existence. Isaiah,
Manifest
Austin,
it.
y'all both going D1. Y'all both gonna have some pro careers. Speak it
Let's
into
get it.
existence.
Let's get it.
All right, man. Love.
We out.
Man, CP. One more time. We out.
We outside.